fucking yourself.
And that's when I roll us back into being
Words
live.
of wisdom from Gulrod.
So,
Almost a sight.
Antaeus. How the hell do you say that name? I am gonna have to make sure you get a filter.
That's the way I was gonna pronounce it, because I've looked up ways to pronounce it, or the audible ways to do it. And I'm like, it doesn't sound as good, so that's what I'm going with.
So you are running late yet again to speak to yet another person. It doesn't sound like you, so you never think you're late.
No.
Okay.
No. Everything happens when it's supposed to. That's.
So you arrive at the door to Maha's office. Maha is new to you as an officer. When you came into here, there was a bit of a mix-up. People thought you were supposed to work with a different department, and then during one of the situations that kind of led to you being solo, you ended up in a situation where you were doing some things that ultimately were completely opposed to the law.
Whoops.
You weren't violating anything directly because you were told to by your commanding officers, but you were definitely out of line and had no way to know you were in the wrong place. Or did you?
That's not my fault. I was doing what I was told.
But now you find yourself bumped back to being with the people who are just getting started.
Sucker.
And here you are at the door to whoever Maha is and whatever lies behind it.
I'll knock on the door.
Okay. As you knock on the door, tell me, what is it that Maha wants, what is it that Antaeus wants from his life?
Well, ultimately, what he wants to do is he wants to be a force for the greater good. He wants to, do things to make the world a better place than it was when, he was born.
Is that truly his interests?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. You see my character sheet.
Okay. But let's talk more deeply about what's not on the surface. What lies in his heart? What hurt him?
I don't know what you mean. I'm perfectly fine.
The door swings open, and you step inside. Maha nods to you as you step in. Antaeus, I assume?
Correct.
Have you had any intel on the case yet?
Have I had any intel on the case yet?
No.
No one's informed me of anything.
And please close the door behind you.
I'll do that.
Once you step in and close the door, she gestures. These are the three you'll be working with. This is Brianna, Elizabeth, and Gulron. This is Antaeus. Antaeus, you, I believe, are a bit of a brewer, right?
You could say that.
But you specialize in information.
Correct.
Sorry, did I miss? Did you describe what this guy looks like?
Not yet. He will in a moment.
Okay.
In fact, this would be that moment.
So he's an elf. I have a chain
Ooh,
shirt
wow.
on. The old chain shirt. Not dressed in anything as far as like clothing, nothing too fancy. Is there like a military like clothing that they give us? Or
Here,
whatever,
no.
or-
The ministry is kind of like the equivalent of dress casual. So wear something like nice and presentable, but really your stone is what kind of gives you your authority.
Okay.
And
So
I'm sorry, I forget. Race is like this is very like multi-diverse. Like there's no like stereotypical like dwarves don't like elves or whatever. Like right?
No, not particular. There is still some kind of like leftover residual, like you'll always get this. Some things are a little hard to give away, so like dwarves tend to be maybe a little bit more hesitant to trust an elf.
Okay.
And elves are typically used to like dwarves not listening, so they sometimes might feel like they have to say something twice. There's kind of like the stereotype that halflings are all farm folk, that orcs are always going to be hotheads, and that humans are not going to be here long enough to matter anyway. So
True. Okay, yeah, I just like look at him with like a raised eyebrow.
but also like the concept of human privilege is a common thing that does get handed around. Much of the like current infrastructure of the world has been built by humans, and so like humans have often taken more positions of leadership and often give positions of leadership more commonly to other humans than they are likely to give them to other things, unless they're like specific. If they want somebody to build something, what a coincidence, this human happened to hire a dwarf to build this thing. Or this human wanted military people and seems to have a typical thing for hiring hot-headed orcs.
Okay, true.
but yeah, like my clothes are just kind of as casual, like the most definition of casual as can be described by the ministry. Like I'm assuming that's just like a plain old shirt and
Yeah, you're
and
probably
plain
wearing
pair of pants.
just a regular shirt and regular pants.
Is there like there's not like a set color scheme or anything that they have, or
Nope, not at all.
All right, I have very muted neutral colors. I forget what color. I forgot. What color? What are no? For like for elves, like their hair.
That there's a varying range, usually lighter colors.
Okay, like blondes and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Okay.
Golden,
like
silver.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Platinum.
silver, and then I was like, I always do that.
Golden.
Like kind of like a golden, like a more muted golden
Sun-kissed hair.
Okay.
hair, pulled back into a short ponytail.
What would you say?
Man bun?
What would you say Antaeus' favorite color is?
Purple.
It wouldn't be a man bun, it'd be an elf bun.
Ugh. Ponytail, not a bun. That's too much. That's a good question. I had not thought about that.
Purple is calling to you.
I'm gonna you know what? I'll go with a blue for right now.
Okay.
Okay, Arius.
Check out my cool dragon scales. I still play with toys. My name is Arius.
Hey!
True.
Shots fired.
Stop!
Are you gonna go clutch your dragon toy?
You guys are a bunch of bullies. He's dead, goddammit. Let the man rest in peace.
So after introductions and after a bit of a debriefing to you, Antaeus, she asks if you have any questions.
Is there anything I need to know about this? What we're doing?
She debriefed you. She gave you all the information I gave the rest of the party.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Nothing comes to mind. No.
Any of the rest of you?
Well, Brianna will turn to him and she's not her normal cheery self, but she is trying to put on a smile and be welcome. And she's like, "Hi, I'm Brianna. And she like holds out her hand, her small little hand to shake his.
Just imagine the tiny little halfling and the really tall elf, and she's just like, "Hi, I'm Brianna."
I will do the customary handshaking.
Okay.
Hello.
Maha, you did she gave us like the report of the stuff, right?
Yeah, she'll give you a copy of the dossier.
Is there any need to? You said that someone had already done a cursory view and found these magic auras and stuff. Should we just take the report at their word, or is there a person we should interview?
There's always more that can be asked. There's always more that can be checked for.
So we have authority to do this?
Yes, knights typically just give a precursory look over. It would be nice to have somebody give a more detailed and refined check.
All right. And then there's their name in the report, whoever?
Indeed.
All right. Thank you.
So you are the person in question. I need to remember to roll up these names early. The person in the report is Nico Van Hotten.
Does it say like his rank or?
This is actually a relatively low income person. So they will be on the eastern side of the bridge.
Oh, he's not like a knight?
No.
It's just like someone who reported it.
Oh, you're looking for the name of the knight who reported the
yeah, that's what I was at.
situation.
Like, we have authority to like go over the report with them if there's any like oddities or whatever, is basically what I was asking.
Yes, you can do that as well. Sorry.
This is important too.
Yes. Yeah. That would be a person by the name of let me find this real quick. Maddock Bevan.
Maddock Bevan. And his rank? Is he like a?
He is a rank. He is a rank 1.
Rank 1. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, Ryan. What was your character's name again? Ateus?
Yeah, Antaeus.
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 Okay. Antaeus, she said you have good knowledge of things. Are you well versed in the magics?
Yes, I am particularly well versed in the Arcana.
Good. You're not some new recruit, are you? You've had some experience.
Some, yes.
Excellent. Well, I'm pretty much the leader of this party, and I'll look over it. But we'll get going on this right away.
He thinks he's the leader.
Let's go.
Brianna just like face palms at this whole.
I'll take the report off the desk, or whatever, and start walking out.
Okay. Yeah. So where are you heading first?
So yeah, as we like step outside in the hallway, I guess, do we have like a meeting room or like a debrief room where we'd go to like get our gear and stuff?
Yeah, there are conference rooms that you can speak in.
Yeah, so I guess we'll like pull into one and I'll like lay the report on the table and I'll say, everyone make sure we read it and let's figure out where we want to go first.
All right, so you can all read through this report. Does anybody want to give me an investigation as you go through the report?
What is that? Perception?
Nope. Investigation is a new skill that I forgot to talk to you about.
Mine's terrible, but yeah!
So investigation is an intelligence-based skill. You can add it to your character
5th edition?
I am stealing it from 5th edition, yes. There are... but I actually really like it as a skill. It encompasses a variety of things. Deductive reasoning, and the ability to kind of pick through the fine details of information. It is intel-based.
Another question about that. Is it a class skill for any particular classes, or?
Hold on one sec. Let me make sure this isn't critical. Hello?
Thank you for choosing Marriott Hotels.
I'm so glad that was loud enough for everybody to hear.
That's so funny. Let me make sure it's not important. Thank you for choosing Marriott Hotel. God damn it.
Sorry. So investigation is a class skill for any class that has access to all knowledges as a feature. Or as a trained skill.
Oh, so bards?
Bards, investigators, or rogues, I believe.
I did not know that for sure that investigators did, but I was like, man, that'd be so funny if the investigators did not have investigate.
In addition to that, John, the sense motive skill is going to be referred to as gauge, and encompasses a little more than just sense motive. I just like it better as a title, but you can still keep it as sense motive on your sheet.
Okay.
But if I specifically ask for a gauge check, I mean
Gauge
sense
is
motive.
yeah.
And then climb is now athletics, so is swim, because athletics is just more logical than having to diversify into two separate things. But it will not encompass as much as athletics does in 5e or in 4e, as acrobatics will not suddenly become a catch-all because you didn't want to put ranks in athletics.
Wait, athletics, you're using a new one?
Athletic, yeah, if you have ranks in either climb or swim, they count as ranks in athletics.
Okay. And I'm
And
guessing
then
athletics is
knowledge
strength-based?
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
And then knowledge law.
Yes, and knowledge law, but that exists. You can actually do more specific knowledges if you want to in detail. Like, you can have knowledge in a celebrity in the game, and it just means that, like, knowing difficult things about that celebrity is a much lower DC than it would be for other people.
Oh yeah.
this knowledge. Oh, so knowledge law I don't need to add, right?
You don't have to add it. You would add it if you're going to put ranks in it.
Oh, okay. So I won't bother putting anything in it right now.
So on a 21, Brianna, you are looking over this dossier, and something kind of sticks out to you that's a bit abnormal. The amount of money that was claimed stolen from this. It is a substantial amount of money. It's about 250 gold. And not normally, like, a very low-income family is not going to just have 250 gold lying around in their house. It is an exceptional amount of money to be holding on to. And to have in an area where it could be, like, easily stolen as well.
So then Brianna, as she's looking over it, says, wow, they have that. This is a lot of money. 250 gold stolen, and this income bracket. I don't know. That's a lot of money. What do you guys think?
Could be some sort of insurance scam.
Sorry, give me a quick refresher on what exactly was on this report when you were going over it. I was having a baby screaming at me, so.
So basically, this is a report. Somebody in the lower income area, the east side of the town, is reporting that they had a substantial amount of money stolen. There were soft remnants of illusion and transmutation found within the house, but very, very light residue. And the family is claiming 250 gold was what was stolen.
Are they claiming that it was just outright actual gold pieces stolen, or 250 gold worth of valuable?
No, they're claiming 250 GP was stolen from their home.
Elizabeth comes from middle or upper class?
She's closer to upper class. Like, your family is pretty closely linked to the knight lineage, or not the knight, the magical lineage.
Okay. Yeah, so after Brianna says that, I'll be like, 250 gold, isn't that? Well, they're lower class, aren't they? Yeah, I guess that is.
Well,
Brianna would mutter, "That's a lot of money for me."
it's a lot of money for anyone. Let's I think we should start by checking out the residents and talking to the people that say they got their stuff stolen.
Sounds good.
Okay, so you can head over to the Von Hotham residence. As you head down that way, you'll notice like the upkeep of the homes out this way starts to really decline very rapidly the further into the like kind of area you get. This is kind of the northeastern parts. You cross over the bridge, you get a little ways further east, and then start to move north. And up here, like, the houses start getting much smaller in size. They start looking more like people have kind of thrown together like sheds and then kind of like built them on top of each other almost to build like a ramshackle house of sorts. It's a very, and like nothing is kept up. There's not farmland out here, like, because it's too close in for there to be usable farm, or for there to be usable soil. It's also like so far out that it's a bit of a trek to get to work. And there aren't really, like, you can't use any of the enhanced speed roadways as you travel. You're kind of stuck on these like limited regular movement roads, and some of them are not well kept up. So like you're walking back and forth to the main road will end up like wearing out your shoes relatively quickly if you don't have a lot of money to put into shoes. Yeah, I'd imagine that would be about Elizabeth's look as she like starts getting through here. And like windows, some of the places don't have like panes, even a single pane of glass in the windows. Some of them don't have shutters to go along with that lack of glass, and the doors like just sort of kind of hang lackadaisical on these houses. But as you get to this house, you notice that it is a little better upkept than the rest of the houses around. Like somebody has tried to put some effort into fixing things up. Like the door is hung okay. There's some pieces of wood over like some of the areas where there's holes in the glass panes that they happen to have, or like windows entirely covered up by planks of wood when the glass was not replaceable. There is like a small little area with some toys in it in the yard. The yard is like just a like kind of small area of dirt that exists out front of the this little home. As you make your way up,
I imagine there's a lot of interesting smells around.
There are a lot of very interesting smells. In this area, there tends to be a lot of different things. Like cooking is often more of an outdoor thing and not necessarily an indoor thing. So as you're wandering around, you'll see like people with fires out front, and they're kind of like, cooking stuff up over the fire, very old style. You'll see like people sitting around outside and either leaned up against their fences or leaned up against their homes and kind of talking, or occasionally you'll pass by a person that's maybe reading a book, or some people playing like a number of different ball related sports like catch, or there'll be people running back and forth down the street, kids running back and forth down the street playing tag. But the other thing like that's pretty well known about this area is there's a lot of people use a very fragrant kind of, it's not illegal per se to use, it's illegal to own more than a certain quantity, and as strong as it smells here, it's very clear that like everyone here probably has more than the like acceptable legal amount on hand. They're probably doing on a regular basis. And that smell like lingers on every street and in front of every building, except the one you come up to now. The smell seems to kind of fade away, and there's just kind of a sweet, warm smell of maybe somebody cooking something for lunch. Or a snack, perhaps? It's a little late for a lunch. Maybe dinner is cooking early?
So who wants to knock on the door? Because I'm a little short.
I knock on the door.
Goran, you step forward and you knock at the door. One moment. Eventually, the door opens. You can hear a little kid in the background kind of giggle, and then the sound of like feet scurrying off as the door swings. Yes, what is this about?
We're looking for Nico Van Houten.
Hotham. That would be
Yes.
me, yes. Is something wrong?
We're with the ministry, and you said we have badges or something, right?
Yes.
To show people. So I show them that. I say, maybe we come in.
Oh, certainly, you may. And he swings the door wider and gestures for you to enter.
All right, we come in. Tell us about your missing valuables.
It's... Yeah, it was... You work hard, right? The four of you, you put in a lot of time, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
And you want what's best for your family, right?
I don't have one, but if I did, yes.
Of course. Family is very important.
Have you ever noticed how hard it can be to keep money if you're not... How can I say this? If you're not wealthy enough to have access to some of the investment firms or some of the other financial services businesses?
Brianna will nod and say, well, yes, it's more expensive to be poor.
Elizabeth just kind of looks at the ceiling.
The ceiling is like, it's held together better than you might expect considering what you looked at outside. But you can see that some stuff has been patched up. And
look around.
And Teus, with that perception, you'll notice that this is a fairly, reasonably... the things on the inside here would lead you to believe that this person clearly hasn't done like you see some of the other people outside do. They have, clean furniture, a rug here and there does happen to exist. They have, a small table, a little round table with a couple of, makeshift chairs.
Very modest.
Very, very modest, but still very, this is somebody who's been very focused on, keeping together, a bit of a familial lifestyle.
So Brianna will smile and she'll say, it seems like that you are doing the best you can with what you have, though. Your home is not...
I was preparing to do much better. I have been... Good try. I have been setting aside a lot of my income for the last few years. I've had to...
Some quick maths. Does this add up to reasonable for 250 GP?
You're not sure what his job is yet. That was not on the
Yeah,
report.
I was when he was saying that, I was about to ask him, what do you do for, where do you work?
And then you were like... Exactly.
I manage the underbelly of the city. The pipes periodically have to go down and deal with making sure that there's food for the cubes if things have been relatively clean or that nothing's been lost down there.
That sounds like a disgusting job.
And Teus, you get the feeling he's, like, being sincere. It's not a fun job at all, but it is one that needs to be done. And it's good, honest work. Not a lot of people want to do it, and so it often gets left behind. People assume that by now magic should be taking care of it. What do we even need people for it for? But magic doesn't always get everything right. Sometimes magic fails, and when magic fails, you still need a person down there. And that's what I do anyway. But, of course, magic hasn't done it. Magic is very expensive to replace it. Why do that when you can pay some of us out here to do the same kind of work for much, much less?
Do you have any people that would want to steal your money? Like, where did you keep it? Did anyone else know where it was kept? These sort of things.
He didn't detail this in the report.
We're just following up. Sometimes things don't get left in the report, so it just is better to hear it straight from you.
Fair enough. I don't know. I feel somewhat uncomfortable. I'd rather not continue to have to show where I've been keeping my money to more people. It seems like that would just simply make it harder for me to find it. It's almost like I need someone to better convince me that I should share this information.
Don't ask me to convince them unless
Well,
you want me to intimidate them. I'll
you just
intimidate them.
You just asked him if other people know where it's kept, right? You didn't ask him to show us, did you?
I didn't actually. Well, I did say like where is it as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Also,
If
while
you
he
want
said
us
that,
to help you find your missing money, you should probably show us where it went missing.
and just a bit of advice, now that it's been stolen from said location, I suggest you don't keep more money there. So showing us where the old location is shouldn't be a problem. You should pick a new location for your money.
Thanks. I'm glad you can be nice people to work with.
Yes. Thank you.
So, Brianna says, I assure you, we're just wanting to get to the bottom of this and hopefully recover what was stolen. So, anything that you can tell us would be very much appreciated.
He takes a deep breath after what you said and looks back at you again. You should let her do the talking.
Does he say that to me?
To both of you. To both you and Elizabeth.
Listen, buddy, I just gave you some solid advice.
I deeply apologize for them. They are very good at what they do. They just sometimes...
I don't need an apology. A dwarf knows the best places to keep gold, and I just...
It is true. It
gave
is
you
very
some advice.
simple and efficient advice.
Yes. Take it with a grain of salt. No offense made. I'm just letting you know that your old location is not useful keeping it secret at this point.
So typical of the authorities to blame the victim.
I'm not playing. I'm telling you what to do in the future.
Where else am I supposed to hide it? I've clearly spent a lot of time and effort making someplace to hide it. Maybe if you were on a more reasonable level of understanding, instead of living in your stone houses, this wouldn't be so difficult.
That's racist. I don't live in stone houses.
It's also racist to assume that I'm going to be able to simply find a new hiding place.
No. Hiding places can be anywhere. can lift over the loose floorboard. Boom, new hiding spot.
If that's where I was hiding it before, putting it under another floorboard isn't going to change whether or not someone finds it.
Well, you gotta get creative, man. Then you put it behind a secret under
Cool
drawer.
run. Let's just stop. Let's just stop.
This man is ridiculous. No wonder someone stole your gold.
Cool Ron. Shut your mouth. Just shut your mouth.
I'm
Okay.
trying to help the man.
No, just no.
Perhaps you should spend some time outside.
What?
You're not allowed in my house. Please. If you need to come back in again, get a warrant.
Alright, I guess you don't want your money back. I'll
Cool
walk
Ron,
outside.
just go outside. Just.
And you, thank you for calming him down.
I tried.
Now, I kept my money in what I thought was a safe place. I get what he's trying to say, but implying that I can just hide it again somewhere different isn't exactly easy. Especially after I've lost so much of what I've saved. It's been
Brianna's
hard trying to put aside that kind of money, in the hopes that I can get us out of this neighborhood. It takes a lot of money to be able to move into somewhere else. They want to see that you have that on hand. They're not going to let you just move in because you say or can prove that you can pay the money. They want money up front.
Real quick, Brianna would kind of be familiar with that, being as she, basically struck out on her own and has had to make a life for herself, kind of. She's kind of familiar with that kind of,
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's been really rough for you. Like, you're not even able to acquire something on the east side of town because, like, in order to have any sort of, like, more permanent living arrangement, you do have to either put money down. Like, it's sort of like buying a house here, but much more extreme. You have to have either a substantial amount of money to have up front, or it's probably something like your family inherited. So you're basically, like, living off of whatever inns you could stay at. So this, like, being relegated to having to work for the ministry to get your license has made life much more difficult. Thankfully, you're allowed to kind of have, like, a temporary permit so you can stay at some places. But it's still, like, not easy going.
So, without going into, like, her whole life story, Brianna will kind of sort of say, I definitely understand. I left my family's farm to come here to learn to be a bard, and it's been very rough. I get what you're saying. Absolutely. She's trying to.
You left a farm? That's a solid life's work. Many people in that line of work, they never have to worry about what tomorrow will be. They always know that there will be somebody who needs more.
At that, she'll say, "You're right. My family certainly saw it that way, and I miss them dearly. But we all have dreams, and we all have things we want to do. So these were my choices. But it's certainly not been easy."
I understand. I gave up a lot for what I loved, and it has made my life more difficult, but more fulfilling.
There hasn't been any signs of any family members or anything in the house.
I mean, you heard the sound of a kid.
Oh yeah, there was that kid. That's right. And you said that this house looks like it's in better kept up with than the surrounding area.
Yeah, than most of the houses around the area. It is better kept up with.
It's kind of in the slums.
Yeah.
Okay.
So at this, Brianna will ask. She'll say, I just wonder, how is your relationship with your neighbors? Do you think anyone in your neighborhood could have done this? Or do you have anyone that you suspect might have done this?
It would be wildly implausible to be one of my neighbors. people around here aren't the best at finding things. You could leave valuables in front of them at times, and I feel like they would completely miss the boat.
To get back on topic, I know kind of ended in a sensitive argument, but I would just like to attempt to detect some magic or charms around your, hiding place to see if anyone did anything out of the ordinary.
Feel free to search the house, and if you feel your friend will offer you some assistance, you can let him back in now.
He can stay outside.
Are you not friends with him?
We're
friends.
They have differences of opinion.
You can stay outside.
Oh, okay.
But the party leader's stuck outside now.
Who said he's the party leader?
He did.
Yeah.
Doesn't it seem problematic that the alleged leader of the party is not with us?
Yeah.
Oh, he's not actually the leader. It's okay. He can cool off outside. We'll be fine.
I'm sure he's doing his own investigation outside.
You definitely get the sense they don't think of him as party leader.
Okay. Huh, interesting.
So with him saying that to me, I will just walk around the house, using my detect magic and then using detect charm.
Okay. So wandering about the house, the first thing you'll notice is that there is nothing magical. None of the items in this house at all are magical. Everything is about as mundane as it gets. As you get closer to the back of the house, near where the table is, you do notice that there is a light, a very soft level of thaumaturgy, transmutation
Jesus.
that is lingering in the air. It's very, very light and fading kind of quickly at this point.
Okay.
As we're walking around the house, I'll mention how good of a job he's done at keeping his house intact in this area, and how it is much more visually pleasant, and how much better it smells than the surrounding houses.
Yeah, he thanks you.
And try to see if he mentions anything about the smell in the area. What did you say? His house smells like
right now it smells like food. And as you're kind of wandering around, you'll notice he does have a little single stovetop that he's got kind of like a little no, just an old cast iron stove.
Is there anything currently cooking?
Yeah, there's a little pot of what looks like some kind of stew on top. STEW, by the way.
Yum.
Well, we'll see about that. We'll have to investigate the stew. Pickles.
So
I
Brianna
wonder-
will express that, her surprise that he's got an indoor kitchen, since she knows, having come in here, that most people...
I was very fortunate that my family had put this in shortly before they passed. One of the few nice things that I have here. And a couple of doors for my daughter's room and mine.
Whenever I'm done walking around the house, I'll come back up to him and just mention where I detected the transmutation magic and ask him if that's basically if he knows if that's supposed to be there, if that's something that he's done, or if that's something that's out of the ordinary.
There should be no magic in my house at all.
Alright, and you said it was on a table in the back?
It was right beneath the table.
Okay. So yeah, I'll say, I detected some faint transmutation magic underneath your table in the back room.
What does any
that
of that
anything
mean?
to you?
What's a transmutation?
Okay. So
Is
That would
that
be
like when
unknown to
somebody
you.
doesn't feel comfortable in their skin and they want to become different?
no. Was your money that you had hidden located anywhere near that table?
Yes, it was. It was hidden beneath the table. There was
Okay.
a small. What do you call that? Door.
Trapdoor?
Trapdoor. Thank you. Yes. And beneath that, I had hidden the money.
Okay. I'm gonna walk back to where that was and like check out the trapdoor and just, I guess, look around that general vicinity.
Sure. Give me an investigation.
Is that
Perception's
near the,
okay too, but you need an investigation to go with it.
Is that near the food? Where was that? Or
Yes, that's not far from where the food was at. It's a very
Okay,
small
so-
room.
Can
gonna
I
check.
assist Elizabeth?
Yes, actually.
I will point it out to you and
Well,
be
you can
like,
make your own investigation.
I'm not getting anything. Maybe you're better at this.
With the perception, you can make out where the trapdoor is. But with that 16 perception, you can make out where the door is, but only because like he's kind of pointed it out to you.
Yeah.
Same for you, Brianna. You can make out where the door is.
Okay. I'm gonna go into that area as well.
Okay.
With them.
Yep.
I
You want to
suppose
give me
I'll
the
look and
same?
see. Yeah, I suppose I'll see if I see anything.
So you'll notice how where the locking mechanism is.
Okay.
As you're looking in there, and give me an investigation with it.
All right. Kablam. Ugh.
Nope. I'll fucking up with that investigation.
I mean, at least I'm +5 and not a -2.
But this does seem to have a lock mechanism. Like you can't just simply open it up, or at least you shouldn't be able to, but now you kind of can.
Would you be able to show us how this works?
Not anymore. It's supposed to have like a little, and he like gestures to like a small kind of hole that's been cut out, like a very thin, tiny hole that has been kind of like sawed out in the floor. There's a piece that I would normally put in there, and he like goes over and he takes this thing out of his one of his cabinets, and he like sticks it down in there, and he turns it, he pushes it a little bit. There would normally be a clicking sound, and then I would be able to open the door, but it's not able to work anymore.
So it's essentially unlocked then, just permanently at the moment.
Yes.
Did you tell anyone, or did anyone know you were saving up money to move out of here? It just seems like peculiar that someone breaks in and happens to find this and steal your money. Like, I mean, I don't think I would have noticed it without, literally detecting the magic that I believe the intruder probably left behind.
I am not the kind of person to talk about my money or my plans. It's been a long time since I mentioned anything about this. Close to a year now, I'd say. Back when I had the door installed.
Is this a single-story house?
It is.
About how many rooms?
2. Well, there's this big room, which is kind of like a combination living room, kitchen, and dining room,
Okay.
and then 2 rooms like off in the back that have doors on them.
bedrooms.
Yep.
All right. And I'm assuming their doors are closed then at the moment.
The one is, the other one is not. One of them is, the other one is not.
Okay. I'm just gonna kind of like peer inside and see. From where I'm standing, can I kind of gather which room it might be?
His seems to be probably the door that's open.
Okay.
It seems to have a bit larger a bed, and a couple of things like hung up on some nails that have been kind of hammered into the wall.
Okay.
So Brianna says, I know that based on where you live, that there's probably a lot of people that need money. But can you think of anyone that would have had a urgent or desperate need for money that might have, been able to use magic
I don't
do this?
keep up much with my neighbors, and that I know of, there's no one I can think of that knows any magic around here. Magic is usually a one-way ticket out of here if you happen to be lucky enough to get born with that.
I'm gonna kind of walk over closer to his room, and I'm gonna try to would it be a perception check to just kind of see if there's any sounds going on?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm gonna kind of walk near. I'm assuming they're kind of near each other, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of look into his room, but I'm also gonna keep an ear out to see if I still hear that kid around anywhere.
Yeah, the walls here are pretty thin. Just a couple of planks of wood that have been put up to be between them. So you can very clearly hear somebody who's maybe clunking something up against something else. It giggles every once in a while very softly.
Okay.
How long ago was this stolen?
Today. Well, overnight, I guess, technically.
Okay, so it would have been last night. Basically.
Yes.
I guess I'll just kind of knock on the door.
Okay, of the kids' room?
Yeah.
Daddy said not to open the door.
Oh, my apologies.
Are you gonna help my daddy? He seems really sad.
Yes, we're here to try to find out what happened to his belongings.
Did Daddy lose something?
Yes, he said that he lost something, and we're here to figure out for him what it is that happened to it.
That sounds nice of you. I don't want Daddy to lose things. Daddy works really hard to get things, and he doesn't normally get anything for himself. He buys me things sometimes when it's really sad, but Daddy doesn't take things for himself. These are the most sincere words of a child you've ever heard.
I was like, man, I feel almost bad rolling this, but have you noticed anything unusual recently?
No. Everything has been as it normally is. I go to school and Daddy goes to work and I play with my toys when I come home and Daddy makes wonderful stew and then we might play together for a little while and I go back to sleep. It's a very, very nice and simple life. Sometimes we talk about Mommy, but I didn't get a lot of time with Mommy that I can remember.
I'm sorry.
Gosh. The feels.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Whatever this is, it made Daddy really sad today. Sad enough that he didn't go to work, and he didn't have me go to school.
Did he say why?
No, Daddy doesn't talk about why he's sad. But I know when Daddy's sad.
Okay. Well, thank you. You've been helpful.
You're welcome.
We'll do our best to get back his belongings.
Thank you. I'd like Daddy to be happy again.
Do what we can. And I'm gonna just kind of go back over towards the that other area
Okay.
They're still kind of over by the table.
So I'll ask him. I'll say like, it's probably a long shot, but you said the last time you mentioned to anyone your plans was when you had the door installed. Did you mention it to the person installing the door? I'm just trying to follow up on any potential lead.
No, I didn't mention. I said there were like important documents I wanted to keep down there, so like people couldn't find them. But anybody that's coming in to install something like that, they're accredited. They're not going to. It's not the kind of thing they would do, right?
Not normally. Was it someone around here you had installed? Could I just get the name of the company just in case we want to follow up with them and make sure?
Sure. He was. Sorry, I must.
It's been a long time, I know. Take your time thinking if you need to.
I can't remember the name of his company, but I know when I reached out to him again about things, he said he was in a different sort of line of work, that he had gotten to something about like working on testing instead of installing, if that makes any sense to you at all.
Okay.
He was very, very young into things, very he have you seen that glow that's in the eye of a goblin when he first gets to a point that he realizes he might be able to make a life for himself, that he has like a skill?
Sure. I've read about it.
It's such a nice feeling to see, because so often many of them feel like the best they can do is live out here in these parts and do whatever they have to do to get by. So it's nice to see them, like, doing a solid day's work.
Brianna will nod. Side note, is Nico a goblin?
No. Nico is a human.
Okay.
While he's engaged with in combat, Jesus Christ, in conversation with him, I'm gonna attempt to like kind of. So is this like You said that this was cooking on like a small fire over by like a.
Yeah, he's got like the little iron oven.
Is this like in a like a traditional fireplace thing, or?
No, this is like those old kind of like big black kind of iron stoves. It's got like a door in the front. You load the wood in, and then you light the wood, and then you put your pot on top of it, and that's what kind of cooks it off. Okay,
I'm going to I guess it would probably be an investigation, because I was gonna try to examine it and the stew at the same time to kind of.
Well, you can give me a perception first.
Okay.
To kind of look it over. Investigation is a little more about like what you do after you've looked at after you've kind of gotten the information from what you're looking at. So yeah, you look it over. It's a pretty well kept stove. It's had some like more non-professional work done on it recently. There's some areas where you notice that like stuff has been kind of like put back in place with like maybe a different piece of metal from something or whatever's like needed to kind of get by. But it's still holding together pretty well.
So it kind of looks like he's used like some makeshift solutions to kind of.
Yeah, like if a door or the vent is like kind of fallen off, he's like taken like maybe a nail from somewhere or something else and kind of like propped it in to hold it in place.
Okay. Nothing aside from that unusual, or
no.
What kind of am I able to tell what kind of stew this is?
Give me an alchemy check. That is a craft.
Oh.
If you do not have ranks in it, then you do not have it.
What about a profession chef? Probably not. I have
actually, if you're, I mean, currently it looks like you don't have any ranks in profession. So
yes, but let me read it so I can give you the accurate description. The breadth of experience, you get +2 knowledge or +2 bonus on all knowledge and profession skill checks, and can make those skills.
Oh, sure. Then absolutely. If he'll let you sample it, or if you're just going to like quickly stick a finger in, you can have a taste.
Yeah, I'll unless well, I guess knowledge and profession would be kind of. Oh no,
this is more of a profession. This would be like the same way that somebody like a professional chef would kind of come over and try to see what's cooking.
I'll try to do it while I'm investigating the thing.
Sure.
To see if I can
give me a profession check.
Yeah.
Tastes like some kind of meat stew. Probably, it's not a very good meat. Like, it's obviously very cheap. It doesn't really blend well. The stew it's edible. Like, you wouldn't, if he served it to you, you'd probably eat it. But, like, you wouldn't come over to his house specifically to have his specialty stew.
There's nothing like weird floating around in it or anything.
Not at all.
Okay. All right.
Anything else you guys want to look for before?
I can't think of anything.
I can't either. Brianna will pop her head out and say, "Did you have any other questions, Gulron?"
No, I'm gone. I've already left to go home.
Really?
I mean, I was outside for like, I don't know how long.
Yeah, like a half hour at least.
I thought you would at least be canvassing the neighborhood, asking if anybody saw anything.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not probably outside. I'm probably looking around and seeing what's going on around.
Okay.
So, would you be looking around his house, or would you be looking around some of the neighbors' homes?
Neighbors. I want to get like, if there's like people. You said like it's like a ghetto, right? I'm sure people are just like moseying about.
Absolutely.
So yeah. I mean, I don't know if you want to do what I want to do, but I would just like walk around and get a feel for like what the people are saying. Like, I'll be like, oh, did you? Like, I wouldn't make myself known as a ministry person. I'd just be like, oh, did you hear like this guy got robbed? Like, anyone hear about this? Like,
give me
like rumors. Seeing like if you were talking.
Either give me a perception or a diplomacy. So you're kind of more listening around. You kind of like roam around and some people talking, and you kind of like come and lean by a little bit, or kind of walk by as you notice they seem to be like looking over at you or maybe looking over at his house. And all in all, you don't hear anybody talking about like anything that went on.
I don't hear anyone talking about it at all?
No, as if nobody knows.
Do I notice like any... is there any rumors of anyone moving out of the town recently? Like, because they've come across some money or anything like that? Or
no.
Okay, yeah, if I don't hear anyone talking about anything like no one knows kind of thing, I guess I would canvass like his house, like around his house and around the area, see if there's anything to note or anything like that.
Are you doing it with or without some kind of detective vision on?
I mean, let me just check what I have really. Oh yeah, I have detect magic, so I mean I'll check around. If I don't notice anything, then I'll throw on detect magic and see if I see anything around.
Okay. So give me a perception as you wander about the house. Okay. Give me an investigation, and I'll tell you what you learn from. It's flat intel otherwise. So.
Gulron's not very intelligent.
Yeah.
God,
so I can still tell you what you see. So you're looking at this at a window here, and the window like has a pretty like it's boarded up first and foremost. But as you're looking at it, it has like some marks on it, like some very small kind of like scrape marks on it. And it has like a pretty clear view straight to the straight to where the table was. If you're like kind of peering through the only spot you can peer through between these boards.
Actually, real quick, when we came up, was there like were there any curtains or anything on the windows?
No.
So the windows were just in plain view.
Yeah, they're either shuttered closed here, or he's got them kind of hammered off, or kind of boarded off.
Sorry, you said they're like claw marks?
Yeah, possibly claw marks. You can't quite make out what this is. Just some kind of like scraping marks. Could be a claw, could be a knife, could be a sword, could be an asteroid that scraped closely by the window.
Can I tell that like this is like something that was like made this mark trying to look through this hole? Is that what like it's getting at, or is it like?
That's what the investigation check is literally for.
Okay. Oh, so but I mean like, because you just said like, oh, there's scraping marks and then you see a hole. Like, can I reasonably deduce that like clearly something?
No,
like...
with an investigation at 9, you can't reasonably deduce whether that hole was there before or whether or not like something made the hole in order to see through.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'll just mentally note this stuff.
Okay.
When I was overhearing neighbors, did anyone like mention him at all? Like, were anyone saying like, yeah, that guy's a good guy, or like anything like that, or
nope.
Really no one's talking about him at all?
Nobody's talking about him at all.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, if they're still like wrapping up with him, I was gonna make a quick sweep around the house real quick to see if any of the windows around were closed. Because I was kind of trying to see.
Actually, all of the windows are either closed or boarded off.
Okay, because I was gonna try to see if I would be able to like look into the daughter's room without having her open the door, because she seemed like she didn't want to do that.
Yeah, no, you'd have to. There's actually no window on her door or on her room. It's pretty customary. Like, a lot of these houses are basically kind of thrown together, so a lot of things are overlooked. And give me an appraise.
Perfect. I do actually have points in that.
Yeah, so you'll notice like right away from a little bit of like how the house is put together. He probably actually built these rooms. This was probably one big room, and either he or somebody else probably just bought the lumber and put the room up. None of the wood looks really like well worked.
Okay.
It looks like it's very, very cheaply done. Like having the rooms like this would almost devalue the house, because somebody would have to come in and tear them down to make them into real rooms.
Yeah, this looks like an added-on room?
Yeah, both the rooms do. Like, both the bedrooms do. Like, this was probably one big room before.
And then he added the 2 bedrooms.
Yeah. Either he did or maybe his family did before him. Yeah. Whichever.
I have a question, too. Is there, in relation to where the trap door is, are there windows? Could someone have seen him put, his money in?
There's one window that looks like it could look towards this spot, like from the angles that you're looking at. Because like the way the bedrooms are built, they do actually block off some more of the rooms, the viewpoints. But the one that is there is boarded up pretty heavily. Can we take a quick pause and then continue the investigation?
Absolutely.